Yo, what up YouTube? It's your boy Penny LS1 checking in real quick. Back with another video. I know y'all probably wondering where I've been. I said that the last video, but y'all see what's in. I ordered these about 5 weeks ago. They finally came in. I've got them test mounted on the car, but everybody's been hitting me up. Y'all want to know what size the wheels are. Y'all want to know what size the tires I got. Y'all also want to know backspace, offset, what I had to do if I had to modify the car to get them to fit. So let's go over here. I got two sitting at the front of the garage. I got two mounted on the passenger side because I was test fitting them to make sure everything was good. So let me show you real quick. So you can see the car is jacked up, so it does look kind of funny. But I want to show you real quick there. No poke. Look at that. Look how flush that is. You see it? Flush. And it's still jacked up, so it should settle pretty good. So let's walk over here. Let me show y'all. And I'll tell y'all my measurements and offset and all that good jazz. All right, so here we go. That's one of the rear wheels, as you probably can tell. That's the front, and that's what came off. So these, for those who don't know, these aren't the factory wheels. I know they look factory, but these are actually a 17-inch factory replica manufactured. Hold on. Manufactured by Year One. It's called the N90. These are the N90s that came on the, I believe, the 70 model Camaros, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But the factories was 15 by 5 or 6 or something like that, or 7. So they made these 17 by 8, 0 offset, and 4.5-inch backspacing, if I'm not mistaken. They fit factory. They will clear the Blazer brakes if you do the front Blazer brake upgrade. That's what I had on here originally when I first put these wheels on. So they will clear the Blazer brakes. So, but I want to show y'all something on this particular wheel. And everybody be talking about American made. I'm going to show y'all something. Where is it at? Oh, it's right there. Y'all see that right there? What'd that say? It says made in China. This is a Year One product. I ordered these wheels directly from Jegs, and it says made in China. So for all y'all talking about buy American, there you go right there. It's made in China. Not a bad wheel. It's actually a pretty good wheel. And then I went with the Kumo. This is a 245 45 R17. Pretty good tire. But anyway, so that's what I was riding on. But this is what y'all came here for. So the upgrade. So y'all want to know what size these are? That'll probably give it away if I had to modify it or not, because some of y'all were asking me if I had to modify the car. So 22-inch FORGIATO G-Code. That's the name of this wheel. 22-inch FORGIATO G-Code. I did go with the standard forging. I was on the fence, ECL or standard. Looking at it now, how they fit, I should have went ECL. I had way more flexibility than I thought I did, but I know now. So the front are 22 by 9. Let me roll it over here so you can see the back space offset. I've already measured it, so when I ordered it, let me give you the numbers first, and I'll give you the little story. So, but just so you can see it. You can see how the lip is on the front. Not pretty, you know, nothing fancy about the front. Just so you can see the measurement wise. That's the front lip. So the most of it is on the rear. This is necessary to clear the suspension in the front and the frame. 22 by 9. Look at the rear. Look at the back side of it. So you see how all the lip is back here, but look at the actual hub. You see that? So the measurements on this one, it's 22 by 9, which makes it a 10-inch overall wheel for those who don't know. So as you look at this tire, you see it's actually kind of stretched. You see that? See how it's slanted? If it was not stretched, it would go straight up. So, and on this tire, it actually says it right here. The maximum, or the standard wheel, it says 8.5. If I can get that to focus. You see that? 8.5. So that's how you know this wheel is bigger than an 8.5. So this is a 9-inch wheel, which actually measures 9-inch from bead to bead, and it actually measures 10" from rim to rim, which is the edge of the wheel. So the offset on this wheel, the front wheel, is 0, which means the distance from the mounting hub to the center of the wheel is 0. It might not look like it, but if you kind of look at it, it's right there in the middle of the wheel. This piece, not the face, this piece where it mounts. So this one has a 0 offset, and it has 5" back spacing. 0 offset, 5" back spacing. The tire on this one is a 245/30. Where is it? I can't even find it. 245. Hold on. 245/30 ZR22. These are XL tires, extra load, and this is the speed rating right here. I was looking for the tread where I think it's like a 400. I can't find it. I'll find it later. But so there we go. Front wheel 22/9, 0 offset, 5" back spacing, wrapped in a 245/30 ZR22. This wheel, I've actually got it mounted on the car. I'm gonna set y'all up on the tripod. I wanna show you turn to turn so you can see how close this wheel comes to the frame. So let me put it on the tripod real quick. All right, so hopefully y'all can see that. Make sure my mic is on. Yep. So I'm gonna turn it to the left first so you can see how close this comes to this. This is all determining if I'm gonna have to notch the frame in the front. So let's give it a turn. The hell is that noise? Oh, that's this. I'm like, what? The power steering pump. So it's lock to lock. You see that? Look at that. Got space. Now I'm gonna get you in closer because it is close to the sway bar. So let me show you. It is really close to the sway bar. So if you look down there, you see that? It's not touching, but it's close. I mean, it's close. I can't even get my finger in between there. But it is locked. It won't turn anymore. So I should be good. It ain't nowhere near the frame, but this is that 245. If I went with a 255, it might hit right here. So I don't know. I want to try a 255, but that's where we at. So now let me turn it the other way, and I want you to see how close it comes to the back part of the front section of the frame. So let me put you back on the tripod. Let me turn this ISO down a little bit. Y'all, there you go, 2.0. In case y'all didn't know, I used to be a photographer. Well, I still am. Once a photographer, always one. So let me turn it the other way so you can see, and I'll get you in close. So I know y'all say y'all like when I do detailed videos, so I'm taking my time. I'm trying to talk slow. I'm trying to cover everything that everybody's already messaged me about. So turn it to the right, full lock. It's locked, won't turn anymore. If you can see, let me see if y'all can see that. You can't, so let me get the camera in there. Okay, I might need a light. Nah, I come from right here. So it's not touching. Right here, look. I can't get my hand in there. I want to show y'all, but I can't get my hand in there. I can't get a finger, but it is not touching. Let me see. You can see right there. You see it? See? It's not touching the frame. It's close. It's tight, but it's not touching. So to answer y'all question, for the front, so far, the front needs no modification. Now I'm gonna put that wheel liner on. I think we're gonna be okay. But I'll put that on towards the end of the video because I gotta put 2 bolts in to hold it on. So the front, 22/9, 0 offset, 5" backspace, 245/30 ZR22 tires. No modification needed. So, and hold on, let me turn the wheel back straight. Let me show you the brakes. And there's plenty of brake clearance, as you can see. So the distance between the caliper and the face of the wheel, there's plenty of room. So these are the Corvette brakes. So this will clear stock brakes. More than likely, obviously, it'll clear wheel wood. So now everybody's telling me I need to get bigger rotors. So my next upgrade is going to be the Z06 6-piston rotors and the calipers. 6-piston caliper, 6-piston rotor. Z06 6-piston caliper and the Z06 rotor. So that'll bring it up a little bit, and it'll kind of fill this in real nice, kind of how it was with the 17. So no modification needed, whether you got stock brakes, aftermarket brakes. And what I told them when I placed my order, I went to Omar's Wheels and Tires here in Dallas. If you're from the area, pretty sure you're familiar with them. And if you're not, there's a bunch of local YouTubers in the car game that promote them all the time. But I simply said, matter of fact, let me explain the rear wheel before I tell you how I placed my order and what I told them as far as my fitment. So let's go look at the rear wheel real quick. Give you the size, backspace, offset on this one. So let me roll it up on the carpet real quick. All right. So the rear wheel, 22-inch by 10. It's 10 inches from bead to bead. I know it seems big. It's actually an 11-inch wheel from rim to rim. Rim is the edge of the wheel, edge of the lip. From this edge to that edge, you measure that without the tire on there, it's 11 inches wide. From tire bead, which is the inner part of that, bead to bead is 10. That's how you measure wheels. When I get it, if you buy a wheel that's a 10-inch wide, it's 10 inches wide from bead to bead. Overall width is 1 inch wider. So this is actually 20 by 11 from edge to edge, but for sake of wheel measurement, it's 22 by 10. With that being said, on this tire, if you can see the tire right there, standard wheel, 9. See that? That's why, again, you see the stretch, right? So I think I got a little bit more room on this one for sure. I could probably put a okay, tire size. This one's a 255/30 ZR22. There you go, 95 on your speed rating, XL tire. So 255/30 ZR22 on the rear tire. You can see how wide it is. You can also see the lip. I know I was talking trash about y'all only caring about lip sizes and not worrying about offset and backspace. They all play a factor, but just for shits and giggles, for those that want to know, that's a 6-inch lip. And if you know anything, 6-inch lip on a G-body is key. And I'm gonna tell you why. Turn it around. Look at the back. See that? Back spacing, offset. Look how flush that is compared to the other one. Remember the other one was stuck out like this? So back spacing on this one is 3 3/4. 3 3/4. That's the distance from the hub, this right here, to the edge of the wheel. 3 3/4. That gives me a negative 44 offset. 44. That's in millimeters, so 44 millimeters. And the front was 0 offset. So what that means is, you see how pushed back this face is. That's the distance from the center line, from the mounting edge to the center line. So 44 millimeters is only, I believe that's only like 3 inches. Let me see. Let me pull up my millimeter to inches. Let me go Google. Millimeters to inches. So let me get my calculator here. What I said was 44. Come on, man. Bear with me, y'all. Google one trip today. There we go. Millimeters to inches. I'm gonna pull up on my phone. Oh man, Wi-Fi tripping. Wi-Fi down. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Yeah. So I was close. So I put 44. Hold up. I put 45. So 44 millimeters is 1.7 inches. If you can see, hold up. It's not gonna focus. See that 1.7? 44 millimeters. So from center line is basically 1 point, so almost 2, it's 1 3/4 inches basically from center line. I know it seems like a lot, but it's not measured from here. It's measured from the center. It's measured from where the center of the wheel. This being a 9-inch wheel, or excuse me, a 10-inch wheel, the center line is 5. So it's 1 3/4 inches pushed back from that center line. That gives it a negative offset because it's pushed back 44 millimeters. So that's how you measure the, I mean, that's how they calculate, or that's how they document offset, is by millimeters. So again, this rear wheel, 22 by 10, 3.75 back spacing, negative 44 offset. Okay, that's what it looks like in the back. Let's go to the back of the car. I'm gonna show you it mounted, and then I'll tell you what I told Omar's, what I placed my order, and how I got them set up like this. Let me bump this down. Okay. Oh, real quick. You see how the studs, you see how the bolts or the lug nuts are sticking out? So I do have extended lug nuts. If y'all have been following me when I did my brake upgrade, see how they're not sticking out on here? The reason that is, I could have actually got away with, this is a 0 offset. I could have got away with probably a negative offset on this one. Well, probably, because you see how much space I got between the brake and the face of the wheel? That's because of this. That's because of this. The reason this is like that is because if you see on this factory style wheel, you see that? That factory hub actually goes inside of this. And the lug nuts are flat right here on this one. Right? That's why on this wheel, that's why the face is out that far. Because the hub would be inside of here. But I've got Corvette hubs. So there's no what do you call it? The bearing, spindle, whatever. But I ordered it for factory Monte Carlo. That's why it's made like that. I actually like the look, but because of that, now you have to get the lug nuts pretty much open hole so that they can go in there. I don't know if the factory lug nuts will fit. I won't even try it because I already have aftermarket lug nuts. So on the back is flat because it doesn't have that spindle to stick in. So that's why this one is flat, and that's why it has a different back spacing. So, and the studs don't even come to probably to about right here. But I don't know if y'all gonna be able to see this. Let me get a lamp. But what I wanted to show y'all is, I mean, let me get a light. I said a lamp. My flashlight at. I got stuff everywhere, y'all. Excuse the mess. I'm trying to see if I can get it so y'all can see the frames. What I want to show y'all. Oh yeah, you can see it from right here. So if you look at this, let me put the light in here. Give y'all some game here. You can see the frame right there. You see that light? That's how far. This is crazy. So look, see my hand? That's the frame right there. Here's the wheel. Here's the frame. Here's the wheel. Damn, I'm trying to get the camera in there. Dang. Y'all can see it though. That's a lot of space, bro. And this is a 10-inch wheel. Actually 11. So I'm pretty sure I can get this is a 255. Pretty sure I can get like a 265. Somebody said I probably can get a 275, but then I run the risk of it hitting the lip up here. So we'll get it dropped down where it can sit on its weight so I can see how close this edge is. Like, it's flush now, but I don't know if when the car moves, if it's gonna hit this. Because I do have coilovers. Let me get up. I do have coilovers for those who don't know. You can see them right there. Coilovers, and I do have the Blazer upgrade in the rear. So we got disc brakes all the way around on this bad boy. So no modifications so far. For sure not gonna need any modification for the back side. So no frame notch. I'm not sure yet on this lip. I don't want to roll the quarter I don't want to have to cut it. But once I get the engine hoist out of the garage, that's what's holding me up, because I can't get to the other side of the car right now without moving this hoist so I can pull my hood. So I got my hood and my and the what is that, the trunk up there over there against the wall. So once I get this hoist out the way, I move that, then I can mount all four, let it down on its weight, push the car forward and back so that it can settle. Then I'll know for sure if I need to modify the rear. And then also I'm gonna put that fender liner on to see if this wheel in the front rubs. But so far this doesn't touch turn to turn, full lock to full lock. So once again, 22-inch FORGIATO G-Code, right? Front wheel 22x9, 0 offset, 5-inch back spacing. The tire on the front is 245/30/22. The rear wheel is a 22x10, -44 offset, 3.75 or 3 3/4 backspace with a 255/30/22 tire. Like I said, I might have some wiggle room in the rear, but I won't know yet until I get the other one on and get it off jack stand so it can sit on its own weight. So what I told Omar's when I ordered these is, I said I want a 22-inch wheel all the way around, and I don't want to modify the vehicle. So when y'all were asking me what offset I went with, I don't know. I didn't know until I measured it myself, because they simply put on my order sheet to FORGIATO, they put the vehicle information, they put the 22-inch wheel, and they put a note that said the customer does not want to modify the vehicle. So that tells FORGIATO whatever a standard backspace offset is for this car, make this wheel with that. So whatever width the wheel had to be, make it that. So I ended up with a 9-inch in the front, a 10-inch in the rear. If it had to be an 8.5 and an 8.5, it would have been an 8.5 and 8.5. So based on that, they bowed up without touching the frame. Now it's just a matter of if it's gonna rub when there's weight in the rear and when the car moves up and down. The front looks like it's gonna be okay though, okay for turn to turn, simply because of the tire. So these tires are stretched slightly. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'd rather have a straight up and down, but as you can see, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. Terrible, as your boy will say, terrible. But it's still a pothole. It's one pothole away from going, oh shit. So that's where it's at. So what I'm gonna do now, they're already clean, but I'm gonna wipe them off with some glass cleaner, and I have this this ceramic coating I'm about to apply just to make it easier to clean and again keep the brake dust off. So this is Deluxe by CarPro. I don't know if you can see on the sticker. CarPro is the manufacturer. Deluxe, so this is good for plastics, and it says plastic and wheel coating. Yeah, it is right there, CarPro. So I'm finna clean the wheels off with this wheel cleaner, and then I'm gonna put the ceramic coating on it, and then I'm gonna put some tire dressing on the tires, and they'll sit up for a while. I'm not getting rid of these wheels yet because I need those. Obviously I don't have any spare wheels, so I do need that as a spare, and I'm putting those back on when I paint the car so I don't risk getting any overspray on the new ones. I don't know yet if I'm gonna sell them. If I do, I'll let y'all know. So if you're interested, just hit me up on IG. A lot of y'all were hitting me up on a lot of y'all will comment on a video on YouTube and ask how can y'all get in touch with me regarding those hold on, let me turn the camera around. But a lot of y'all were hitting me up on, or y'all will put a comment on a video on YouTube asking how can y'all get in touch with me regarding the AC hoses. If you have I have Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, Penny LS1. If you have an account with any of those, just shoot me a direct message. I'll get you pricing, and then I can send you an invoice if you're interested in ordering. You can pay for it, and then I can ship it to you. So with this setup, if y'all haven't already seen it, I've got the mid mount. I've already sold my high mount, my Holley high mount setup. So I've got the mid-mount Holley accessory drive. So I'm going to be making new hoses for this setup. So if anybody has this setup, I will have those available soon as I get mine mocked up and crimped. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I can get you a set of hoses, whether it's just the 8 or 10 or both. And I have the SD7. So I have the Sandin SD7 compressor for this one. So, but anyway, so hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at PennyLS1 for any inquiries on AC hoses. But that's it for these wheels, man. I appreciate the interaction, all the comments, all the questions. I really appreciate y'all. I also appreciate y'all for the patience, but I've got everything I need in this garage now. And look, it's raining today. I was supposed to be painting the fenders, the inner fenders, or not the inner fenders, the fender jams. I was gonna try to get those painted. I knew it was gonna rain. That's why I had made that video yesterday, saying I was gonna touch bases on the wheels today because it was gonna rain, and it rained all last night, and it just started raining again today. So no painting for today. So I'll be in here wiring up the engine. I've already got everything attached. I got the headers on. I put the starter on. I got the starter wires. My starter wires are wrapped in DEI, that aluminum fire tape or whatever it's called, the high heat fire tape. It's been on there for probably about a year. And when I took the engine out, there's no burn marks or anything on that. So that stuff holds up pretty well. So the wires are loomed and fire taped, the wires that go down to the starter. Because I got those headers, man, the wires are super, super close. But I got them zip tied to a strap on the back of the transmission, so it actually keeps them from like falling and laying on the headers, because that's what happened when I first got the car home and wire caught on fire. So that's where I'm at now. We're getting ready to finish wiring this thing up so we can get it started. I got to go get my fluids. I got to go get transmission fluid, coolant, and oil, get all that plumbed in. I got to put the radiator back in so we can test fire it and see how this, see how this, yeah, see how this cam sounds. It's gonna sound like that. So, but anyway, man, I want to thank everybody for rocking with your boy. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click that notification bell so you'll be notified when I'm dropping the next video. Check me out on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at PennyLS1. And until next time, you already know what it is, PennyLS1. Holla at your boy.